Wow, just wow. Listen to the detail on those claps and the top end on this mix. And it just adds this extra layer of detail and presence. This was one of the most requested videos. And finally, by popular demand, today we're taking a look at the McDSP APB. Let's take a look at it. Hello everyone, welcome back to McDSP. Hope you're having a great day. Today we are testing McDSP APB. In this case, we have the 8-channel version. There's also a 16-channel version of it. So for those of you who are not familiar with the APB, this is an analog processing box. 8 channels of analog processing with digital controls. And the digital controls are, of course, the plugins that we're gonna see in a minute. In here, we have enough components to give you 8 channels of compression, EQ, saturation, and many other processing, because the list of plugins is going to be updated over time. And you can combine these processing any way you want. You have 8 channels, you can have 2 channels of saturation, 2 channels of compression, 2 channels of equalization, and so on. Connecting the unit is extremely simple. As we take a look at the back, we have Thunderbolt connection compatible with Thunderbolt 2, 3, or 4, and a simple BNC cable forward clock. You connect your Thunderbolt to your computer, the clock cable to your main interface, you're good to go. At a first glance, these are the key features of the APB. Programmable analog processing, premium analog components, multiple analog saturation circuits, AKM 32-bit DAC and ADC. Yes, this thing has converters inside, of course, and these are high-end converters with over 130 decibel of dynamic range. Pretty impressive. It's manufactured in the United States and McDSP patented. Being digitally controlled, we have sample accurate automation, full session recall, and presets. So without further ado, let's take a look and a listen to all the plugins, and we will focus on the new, just released KD1 driver saturator. Let's go. So the plugin list for the APB is always evolving, but as for today, with the new release of the KD1 saturator, we have 11 plugins. But remember, these are not plugins. These are just the digital control for the analog processing inside the box. And today I'm gonna focus on the KD1 drive just released, but I want to show you all the plugins and mention a couple of my favorites here. We have the C18 compressor, we have the C673A dynamic range compressor, we have the ChickenHead compressor, which I can already tell you is one of my favorite. We have LMU tube limiter, we have the L18 limiter, extremely interesting to have an analog limiter. We have the MC3 multiband compressor. We have the MU-X channel. Now this is an absolute gem of a plugin, and again I keep repeating plugin, is a gem of a channel strip with one of the best sounding saturation I've ever heard. We're gonna definitely take a look at this one. You will hear this in action. Is pretty impressive, and it makes me want to have one of these for every channel, which it would add up a little bit. We have a MU tube compressor, and the last two, which are really to die for, the Royal MU compressor and the Royal Q. Absolutely beautiful sounding, and again, this is because this is an analog equalizer in this box, simply controlled by this plugin interface. But the beauty of it is, of course, we have recalls, we have automation, we have presets. just like a normal plugin. And finally, the focus of our test today, the new KD1 kinetic drive. You can see the interface is car culture inspired, which of course finds me very happy. And this plugin is pretty simple, few controls, but it sounds amazing. We have a big drive knob here, and then these three buttons: front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, and all wheel drive. These three buttons, you will hear, shift the saturation from being full bend, all wheel drive, to bottom end, rear wheel drive, to top end, front wheel drive. In addition to that, we have the kinesis knob. This works very much like a bias. And then we have the focus, which sets the frequency for where you want more saturation. And then of course you have the focus amount, how much of this added extra saturation, focused saturation you want. A wet knob and a dry knob that you can link together. And without further ado, let's start with this one and hear how it sounds. And we're gonna start with drums, this time acoustic, real recorded drums. Okay, first of all, the quality and the way this saturator sounds, especially saturation, is one type of processing that I've always felt plugins are still playing catch up with analog and hardware. And you can hear first the main differences between the three big buttons, rear, front, and all-wheel drive, where in this position, all-wheel drive, the saturation is on the entire spectrum, while on rear-wheel drive, you can hear is very dark, and it's focused on the low end, and the opposite, much brighter and with a lot of bite with the front wheel setting. The kinetic knobs also reshapes the dynamic, as we said at the beginning. See it as a bias function. You can also see it from the metering here. When we turn the kinetics knob, the curve of the saturation gets steeper. Think of it as the curve of a wave shaper, right? That you can see it like this, and then it gets really steep. We can try another couple of settings, and now I'm gonna also use the focus. Of course, I'm exaggerating the settings right now so you can really have a good idea of what the focus does. It just shifts this additional saturation, this additional boost on a specific frequency controlled by the focus knob. But I particularly like the focus on the low end. If you listen to how it enhances the density and the power of the kick without sounding brittle, which is usually the case with digital saturation. And again, I want to stress it one more time, because we are looking at a plugin, and here's the thing with the APB. It goes kind of against the trend on one way, because you buy 8 channels of analog, but you don't have the glamour of the knobs and the meter and the switches and the buttons. At the same time though, we have an extremely compact unit that we can literally bring with us. I'm today here at Atlantic Studio West, and I just brought the unit with me. I brought 8 channels of premium analog in one single rack space with 8 channels of premium ADDA. That's unseen before, unheard of before now. So this product really is revolutionary, and I know why a lot of people were waiting for this video for a reason. And there's also a 16 channel, so we have the 8 today here. And for now, the APB unfortunately is Mac only, and I hope Colin and the guys at McDSP will give us a Windows version sooner than later, because I know there's a lot of people out there that are on Windows that are waiting for that, including a lot of people here at Atlantic. We were all here before start filming the video, listening to this thing, because all the engineers here were interested in this unit. Let's keep going with this. I want you guys now to pay attention to the metering here as I turn the kinetic knobs, because yes, we can hear what it does, but it's also, for educational purposes, eye-opening to look at the meter and see how much we are eating of those tall transients. It sounds incredible. I'm genuinely impressed with this, because even though, you know, at my studio I have probably 4 or 5 different hardware analog saturators, the amount of control over the shape of this curve of the saturation is one of a kind. So regardless all the other plugins and regardless the unit, this algorithm, because what the plugin does is basically telling the unit, use these components in this sequence and do this task. And again, this is revolutionary. We haven't seen this before. And this is the first time I'm using this plugin. Literally, this drum was the first thing that I run through it, but I want to try a mix and see how it goes. That's pretty insane. So if you kept an eye on the meter over there, you've seen how much headroom we are gaining. And granted, these settings are probably a little too much for a full mix, especially this is a finished mix. But again, this is for testing purposes. We are gaining probably 4 or 5 dB on the meter over there of nominal level, and we have more perceived loudness. The type of saturation that this thing has, I don't think I can compare it to anything. I can compare a little bit the result on the peaks with the HG2 which is almost basically the price of this for only 2 channels. And again, here you have 8 of them. So right now I was in AVD, so the saturation was on the entire spectrum, and this kinetics knob, it literally is a game changer. How with one knob you change either the transient shaping, the aggression of the saturation, it relaxes and let the natural dynamics live. It's insane. When you use saturation in parallel, in this case I am mixing the dry signal with the wet signal, you kind of always feel a little bit of phase shifting. And it's either always a compromise or a hit or miss. It's just the nature of saturators when used in parallel. It's more something that you see happening on heavy distortion, but it does happen with saturation. And you instead hear how natural the effect is. I'm right now in real wheel drive, so I am focusing the saturation on the low end, and I'm injecting a little bit of it, although I'm driving it pretty hard into the dry signal, and the result is just natural is the word. Wow, just wow. Listen to the detail on those claps and the top end on this mix. Right now I'm in front wheel drive, so the saturation is focused on the front end, on the top end, and it just adds this extra layer of detail and presence without things getting harsh.
Yo, give me some time and just concentrate. As me tell you about this little youth we contemplate. Say he must eat the food till him lick down pan plate. So the little youth decide to put big gun pan waist. Say him while out and go all insane. Say him hotter than that brother run to all in vain. Mama rose to him was all in vain. Now she cry and a ball in pain. Just because the youth start rob and kill, and say him not go stop until well as them sell it by the gun, dead by the gun. And so by it him own a brain get pop and spill. Now him gone, can't see him again. Sad song I sing for him again. No advice, mama can't give him again. I know me not go see my friend, because him gone, can't see him again. Another retaliate for him again, but pastor can't pray for him again. Another sad story, it's him again. And then make me tell you about my virgin just sentinel. Used to chant and sing till the man get sent to hell. But some never wish just sent he well, cause them know him was a sent to rebel. Yo, me and him was in the same class in a high school. No few to the music, he in high school. Even in the early days, him stand up as a rasta. The fire in him, them coulda never try cool. Him used to have vision and dream.
And again, I'm exaggerating and I'm experimenting here live with you, but this thing is crazy. The amount of, first of all, versatility that I'm getting out of a saturator that I'm basically almost using as an EQ. It's not, of course, EQ. This is just energy shifting, and I have so much control, and it sounds like it's part of the mix. I'm gonna do the top end trick here as well.
Yo, give me some time and just concentrate. As me tell you about this little youth we contemplate. Say he must eat the food till him lick down pan plate. So the little youth decide to put big gun pan waist. Say him while out and go all insane. Say him hotter than that brother run to all in vain. Mama rose to him was all in vain. Now she cry and a ball in pain. Just because the youth start rob and kill, and say him not go stop until well as them sell it by the gun, dead by the gun. And so by it him own a brain get pop and spill. Now him gone, can't see him again. Sad song I sing for him again. No advice.
And I'm not fully new with level. You can keep an eye on the meter and see it for yourself. This thing is just pure energy added to the original material, and it sounds like it was always supposed to be like that.
I reached inside myself and found nothing there to ease the pressure of my ever-worried mind. All my powers waste away. I fear the crazed and lonely looks the mirror sending me these
And again, I keep exaggerating just because I want to hear the effect, and I want the effect to be obvious in the video, but this thing is beyond impressive. I mean, you can see what I'm doing right now. I'm using it in parallel on mixes, and I'm switching between the 3 modes, but every single time it impresses me.
Sending me these days. Touch me. Oh, how can it be? Believe me, the sun always shines on the screen. Hold me close to your heart. Touch me and give all your love to me.
That's crazy, that's crazy. I want to try on some single tracks to hear the effects without the parallel. Let's try bass, for example. So you hear the kinetics again on a simple tracks like this. It's a harder type of saturation when we go counterclockwise, and it's more relaxed, especially here, the sweet spot where I like it. At this point on pretty much everything is this sweet spot around 12 o'clock, and then it really eats up the dynamic as we go clockwise. On this bass, especially like around here, it adds so much density. And again, I have to keep reminding myself that this is hardware that I'm using, is real analog. It's funny because on many of my videos I shown that in many occasions I prefer using saturators in place of EQs. But that's not always possible. You either need a multiband saturator, or you really need to EQ the material if you're in parallel, band pass it to only add a certain range. This one makes all the things that I do in my mixes, and they take me 5 to 10 minutes to set up, so very easily. So besides the quality of the analog processing of the box, this plugin in particular is extremely well designed and thought out. I honestly cannot think of any other processor that can give me this. I'm 100% honest. Like, I cannot think of any other saturator that is this smooth. I still get surprised, and I played with this at this point for enough time that it shouldn't surprise me anymore. It's 2 vocals.
Midnight sky is the road I'm taking, head high up in the clouds. I was born to run, I don't belong to anyone. Oh no, don't need to be loved by you. Fire in my lungs can bite the devil on my tongue. Oh no, don't need to be loved by you. See my lips on her mouth, everybody's talking now, baby. Ooh, you know it's true.
The way this thing breaks, it's unheard of, man. I notice you can really also use this as a dynamic processor by turning the kinetics more clockwise, and it actually handles the dynamics. It does the same on the other end counterclockwise, but the saturation gets harder on that side, so it's better for like lo-fi stuff, or maybe we could try some weird synth effects or an old school beat. But for something like this, especially something so up and front like vocals, I wouldn't want that side, but it's still, man, it sounds incredible.
I was born to run, I don't belong to anyone. Oh no, don't need to be loved by you. Fire in my lungs can bite the devil on my tongue. Oh no, don't need to be loved by you. See my lips on her mouth, everybody's talking now, baby. Ooh, you know it's true that I was born to run, I don't belong.
And just like I was expecting when we tried this on the mix, this is a completely different way to add all that energy at the top end, high mid-range. You have all that presence and density up there. There's no trace of harshness, which would 100% happen with most, if not all, digital saturators that I can think of.
Midnight sky is the road I'm taking, head high up in the clouds. I was born to run, I don't belong to anyone. Oh no, don't need to be loved by you. Fire in my lungs can bite the devil on my tongue. Oh no, don't need to be loved by you. See my lips on her mouth, everybody's talking now, baby.
Even using rear wheel drive, so saturation focus on the low end on a vocal, which intuitively I wouldn't do, it still sounds better and it adds body to it. This, I think it's enough for the KD1 to showcase what this new plugin can do. But I do want to take a few minutes and show you some of my favorite plugins, because yes, this is cool, but the other plugins in the list are just as cool. And I'm gonna start with probably my favorite, which is the Moon Mixer. Now, before starting the video, we kind of all were here playing with this because it was the first time for all of us. And everybody was completely blown away by this plugin. MuX channel. So this is basically a channel strip that has a simple top and bottom shelf EQ, a saturator knob, a compressor knob, and then of course gain and a simple time constant knob to decide how fast the compressor is. And you can put the compressor pre or post. I'll use the same vocal.
Midnight sky is the road I'm taking, head high up in the clouds. I was born to run, I don't belong to anyone. Oh no, don't need to be loved by you. Fire in my lungs can bite the devil on my tongue. Oh no, don't need to be loved by you. See my lips on her mouth, everybody's talking now, baby. Ooh, you know it's true that I was born to run, I don't belong to anyone. Oh no, I don't need to be loved by you.
Now, this saturation is one of the coolest sounding saturation I've ever heard, no matter what. Hardware plugin, alien technology, I don't care. It is so cool. To the point that we were joking and we were saying we would want one of these channels on every channel, and that would mean probably a lot of money for McDSP. I'll show you another one, which is the ChickenHead, and I'm gonna use a drum for this again. And I'm not using sidechain right now. I would normally cut the low end from the sidechain, so it's grabbing a lot, but you hear how much room it comes out. And the color of this thing is really, really awesome. The last plugin that I'm gonna try is this Royal Q. First of all, because the GUI is one of the coolest GUI I've ever seen. But second, this is also one of the best sounding EQ that I've heard. So let's just play with this. The controls are pretty simple. You can see it, 4-band parametric, full parametric, with also mid-side if we want.
Doesn't matter, cause now it's my turn. I'll be heard and I won't be alone. You can't imagine what it is like, have an opinion that doesn't seem right. We've got this vision, so stop trying to fix us and listen. We love who we are, we do what we want. We are not what you think, no, we are not. Even laugh at us, go and call us freaks, that's okay. But we won't stop to sing the freak anthem. Alright. Yeah, I'm a freak. I'm unique, you know.
That bottom end is just so big and focused. It's just crazy. And I love the top end. A little bit goes a long way. This is one of those EQs that if you think and you imagine you want to boost a couple of dB, then boost one. That's probably going to be how much you want. For the last test, I'm going to do a combination of the Royal Mu and the Royal Q.
I'll seek you out, flay you alive. One more word and you won't survive. And I'm not scared of your stolen power. I see right through you any hour. I won't soothe your pain. I won't ease your strain. You'll be waiting in vain. I've got nothing for you to gain. Taking it slow, feeding the flame, shuffling the cards of your game, and just in.
It was just to show you another one of the plugins available for the APB. This was the Royal Mu and the Royal Q killer combination. And I think this is it for this video. McDSP APB. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Of course, the link to get the APB is going to be in the info box. I think Colin and team did an amazing job with this unit. 8-channel or 16, depending on which version you get. And you can literally throw this in a bag and bring it with you to have 8 channels of analog processing, compression, limiting, EQ, saturation. This is it for the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Click the join button, become a MixWest TV member, access the exclusive mix and mastering courses. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time.
Hands on my neck, hands grip my throat. Lift me up, man, take control. Heart is so